every time that we have to talk about him, we're only fixated on one part, and that part being the part that benefits us, then we are extremely selfish. I believe that God can be as sensitive as we are. He just has a better way of controlling his emotions. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Sophie, and I'm back in your screens, guys, with another banger. As you've seen from my title or my thumbnail, today we're going to be talking primarily about knowing God. I know this topic is not one that catches the eye, and I feel every believer already feels self-sufficient about knowing God. But something inspired this topic, and it got me thinking that we believers might think that we know God, but there are just some things that we do that proves otherwise. Let me just go straight into the details. Yeah, no need to hold back. So I went to this church on Sunday, and the man of God was talking about knowing God, which was the topic. I wish I was coming here to pour out everything he said, but otherwise is the case. He made me realize how selfish we are as Christians and things that I just missed. I don't know if anybody out there is like me who had missed these things, but I missed them, and I just feel like I should come here and talk about it and just hope that there are people out there who relate with this as well as I do. So there are three things. The first thing being how much believers, and somehow including myself, associate their knowledge of God with the things that they can get. Hear me out. So when I was listening to the sermon, I just kept going back to my sister to tell her, I don't get the way this man is preaching on this particular topic, because the main thing he kept saying was to know God and go to the kingdom so that you can excel, know God and go to the kingdom so that you can prosper. It was just the things that we could get. And yes, I know that God is merciful and he's all of these good things. So those good things come when you're with him. But I don't think it should always be our point of contact anytime that we are trying to push people to God or make people know God or tell people about God, because I believe those gifts come as a result of your honest and genuine interest in the knowledge of God, in the whole concept, in knowing the man or in knowing this being truly. Okay, let me break this down in a way that I think will be clearer. The mercy of God benefits us, like it is of benefits to us, but we can't see it in our hands. The fruits are not tangible, but when we're talking of his provision characteristics, it's something or along the course of I'm really broke, I go out praying that God helps me, and somebody dashes me money. Provision. Oh my God, God is that is when we remember that he is kind. That is when we remember that he is good. Meanwhile, our knowledge of God is supposed to instill the fact that even when things are not going well, God is kind. So it is when we get those tangible benefits that we are able to remember that, oh, God is actually kind. Oh, it just annoyed me so much that we were focusing only on one part, and that part was the part that was tangibly beneficial to us. The other parts are they're just there. Maybe they're background acts, they're not really deep. And that is wrong. God is merciful, God is graceful, God is kind, God is loving. God is just so many beautiful things. Any beautiful thing you can think of, I don't even know how to describe this being. So if every time that we have to talk about him, we're only fixated on one part, and that part being the part that benefits us, then we are extremely selfish. The second thing which I'm going to talk about, which is on the lane of sin, but under the topic of knowing God, when you're in need, you say, God, please help me. You go with the situation, oh, I don't have food to eat. Oh, I don't have money for this. Oh, I really want to get this and I don't have the finances. Or, oh, I need this job, or whatever it is that you're in need of, you go to him. But when you sin, when you commit a sin that you're supposed to be going to ask for mercy, you would rather hide. Why? Why? You know why this is a topic of its own? Because something keeps ringing in my head. The more you know God, the more clearly you hear his voice. And if you're not hearing the voice of the Lord telling you to come to him after you have deviated, then what are we doing? Maybe we're not knowing him right. Maybe we don't know him right after all. And that is the thing that just keeps ringing in my head. Because if our knowledge of God is right, then we know, and we know for a fact, that what we're supposed to be doing when we commit a sin that is keeping us conflicted is going to the Savior and not hiding away from him. When we realize that is when we truly, truly have known and understood the forgiving characteristic of God. Do you see what I'm getting at with my point? The knowledge of God helps us to go through certain different situations in completely different lights. So, taking it back to what I said the first time, the reason why you're so comfortable with going to God when you need something and you're not comfortable with going to Him when you sin is because you know and you trust His provision characteristic, but you do not yet know and completely trust His forgiving characteristic. That applies to every other characteristic that is attributed to God. It is when you know them and you are confident in them that you can truly and completely put everything together and work perfectly or almost perfectly with all of those attributes. I don't even put all of those attributes to use. I only came to this understanding after listening to this sermon. So now that it's all coming together, I'm like, we Christians, we really play with a lot of things, and this is one of them. So in my first 2 points, I focused on the attributes that we already know about God. The third one is slightly different. If God can get angry, we have seen so many instances in the Bible where God got angry, even though he was remorseful and apologetic about it. We have seen him get angry. We also know that God can be happy when we do things that please him. He is happy. He is head over heels in joy. It is also said that we were created in the image of God. As human beings, we get angry. We are happy when people do things that please us, and we are head over heels in joy and all of that. We as humans, we get hurt when the people around us do certain disheartening things, and it just pains us, it hurts us, it just touches something inside of us that brings out our very emotional and sensitive parts. I was just thinking, if we're so much in the image of God when we're talking about other things, what makes us so sure that we do not hurt God by the things that we do? Hear me out again. When we sin, when we do hurtful things, we're just able to shrug it off. God is merciful, so it doesn't really matter. We just let it be. We're always using that adjective, merciful. We never really stop to think, how much did this action that I took affect God? Also, there's this thing that we do where we don't want our parents to see certain things that we're doing. But we also say that God is omnipresent. So we know somehow that God is around and he can see the things that we're doing. But we are not so scared to show him all of that. We are only scared of our parents. Why? Because God is merciful. He will not strike you immediately like our parents are going to strike or disown or whatever it is that they are going to do. So we just go on with it in secret, forgetting that there is an omnipresent God who is watching everything. At the end of the day, I believe that God can be as sensitive as we are. He just has a better way of controlling his emotions. And that is why he's almighty. Just because he's better at handling his emotions doesn't mean he doesn't have them. I choose to believe that God has all these beautiful emotions that we have as well. And as much as we try not to hurt our family and friends, we should try not to hurt our God. Try as much as possible not to hurt God as much as we unattentively do every day of our lives. I don't know if this video has made any sense. I don't know how much fact I've been able to put out there. It is very possible that 90% of believers already knew these things that I'm talking about. I don't even know. I just came on here to talk and rant about the things that I noticed in church. This is my first video where I sit down and fully talk about faith after the whole launching thing, and I could say it went really, really well. Tell me your experiences, tell me what you think, if I'm making sense, if I have been talking out of point, if you don't understand a certain thing I said, whatever it is your opinion has been throughout this video, please share in the comment section because I am completely and utterly open to your opinions. Don't forget to share this video to your loved ones, your friends, your mommy, your daddy, your nephews, your nieces, any and everyone who you think will like this video. Don't forget to give me a very big thumbs up and of course subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I love you guys so much. Mwah.